here's the thing, okay? One of the things I don't like about Roy Moore is that he's always blaming gay people for things. And because I'm an artist, I've worked with lots and lots of gay people. I've always gotten along with them. Not all of them. There were as many bad gay people in my life as there were bad straight people, I guess would be a better way of saying it. I was never any of my business. I've always supported them. To have rights. I thought they shouldn't be picked on, obviously not bullied, and I'm glad that has come about. When gays wanted marriage, I did question whether changing the definition of marriage, which it is doing, was a good thing. I thought, to be honest with you, I thought marriage hasn't meant what it meant ever since no-fault divorce came in. I don't think straight marriage is straight marriage once you have no-fault divorce. I think when you're married, you should be married unless things are really, really desperate, especially once you have kids. So I have a lot of, I think that marriage as an institution has been really damaged over the years, and the fact that gay people at least wanted to be committed to each other instead of like sleeping with 17 strangers in a bathhouse, I thought was actually a positive thing. This case before the Supreme Court, where these guys are trying to run a baker out of business because he's a Christian baker and he wouldn't bake a cake for a gay wedding. These guys, first of all, I think gay people should be rising up against these. I know they don't. They actually go on Facebook and encourage these kinds of lawsuits. I think it makes them look terrible. I think it's fascist. I think it's small. I think it's mean. I think it stinks. And I think it gives validity to guys like Roy Moore when they hit out at the gay community. I think it gives them validity because it's a terrible, terrible thing to run a small businessman out of business because he won't violate his religious life. And I'm going to connect these two things in just a minute. But first, I want you to look. One of the gay couples, they went in to get a cake for their wedding. The guy said, look, I'm an artist. I cannot put my art into baking a cake for a wedding because I feel that is against my religion. It's violating my God. What on earth stopped them from turning around, walking out, going to another shop and getting another cake and leaving that man alone? It is just fascistic thinking. And I want you to listen. David Mullins, I believe, David Mullins is one of the couple. And here he is making a speech outside the Supreme Court as they were arguing the case.
This isn't about a cake. This has never been about a cake. And this isn't about weddings. It has never been about weddings. No, this is about freedom. Freedom for LGBT people to live full lives in public and not in constant fear that they will be denied basic service in businesses, fired from their jobs, or lose their homes just for who they are. When people live in a world where they can legally be turned away, they feel rejected. They feel unsafe. They feel like they don't belong in our society simply for being born different. And unless society chooses to embrace their rights, some of them will simply choose to remain hidden, cut off from the world and who they really are. To this day, Charlie and I's experience at Masterpiece Cake Shop is a persistent memory.
This is so sinister and so dishonest because of this misuse of the word freedom. You don't have a freedom to be loved. You don't have a freedom to be liked. You don't even have a freedom to be tolerated in the sense that people have to be around you and approve of what you do. That is not freedom. You have the freedom to live as you wish. You have the freedom to be left alone. You have the freedom to go to another cake store if you can't get a cake from this guy. But you do not. And listen to the cake baker himself, Jack Phillips. Listen to what's happened to him because of this state panel that came up against him because of what he did.
We've had to surrender our wedding cake business, which was 40% of our income. I've lost over half my employees, and we've faced death threats and harassment of all kinds. So now we just hope that the court will rule in favor of creative professionals so that I can go back to making the cakes that I can according to my conscience, and that nobody else will have to endure what we have for the last 5 years.
Here's the thing that's really bothering me about this sexual moment. They call it a reckoning. It's really a reckoning of what happened with Bill Clinton, so it's only a reckoning on the left in that sense. But here's the thing that is really bothering me. First of all, I haven't seen any of these gay guys go into a Muslim baker. The only guy who did that was Steve Crowder, which was hilarious. He went into a Muslim bakery, and they all turned him down. He could have sued any of them if he had wanted to, except it wouldn't have gotten very far because he's actually not gay. But But they never go into a Muslim baker, which means that this is an attack on Christianity. It is an attack on the institution that stands between us and the government representing our conscience. It has done this throughout Western history. I'm not going to go back through that. Another show, I will talk about the long history, the struggle between the church and the state, which goes back all through European history from the 12th century on. But they are attacking this, and this is the right way to establish sexual morality. It's through what conservatives call mediating institutions. It's not people acting in their own self-interest, their own political self-interest, to railroad Al Franken out of the Senate. There's no moral aspect to that. It's simply a political move that is being used to get at the other side. Just in the same way that people supporting Roy Moore, in spite of the allegations against him, is a political move to keep a vote. There's no moral high ground here. Moral high ground comes in the same way that sex is experienced. It comes internally. It comes from you understanding who you are, what you're made for, and what your body does, and how your body works for and how it works against the person that God made you to be. You cannot know what's good until you know what you're for. You cannot know whether a leftist tears mug that you would get for subscribing, you can't know how wonderful it is unless you know it's for drinking leftist tears. You cannot know what your body is for unless you know you are a child of God, a soul meant to express love through your flesh, the only way you have to express anything. So these guys, these homo Nazis, and I don't want to tar all gay people because I know all gay people are not like this, but these guys are fascists, and they are trying to destroy this institution which makes them feel bad. If you listen to what that guy said, he wanted the right to feel good about himself. He wanted the right to feel good about himself. There is no such right. In order to feel good about yourself, you have to know who you are, you have to know what you're for, you have to know that you're behaving in a way that serves what you are and what you're for. I have never come out against homosexuality either religiously or morally or any other way. It's none of my business. It's not something I do. And I know so many lovely people who are gay. I'm happy for them to live their lives any way they see fit, but I'm not happy for them to force me to give them a good sense of themselves. That is not freedom. That is fascism. And I think that what is being done to this guy, by the way, in the court, even we don't know how they're going to decide. Anthony Kennedy, who's invented this make-believe right to dignity, is just this kind of wild card. But even he was saying dignity goes both ways. He said while they were arguing the case, dignity goes both ways, and you are not respecting this cake baker's dignity the way you're expecting him to.